Happy 420, y'all. Did you know that cannabis residue was found on altars used to worship Yahweh? Sounds pretty outlandish, but it's not. Back in 2020, archaeologists published findings from an ancient site called Tel Arad. It was a small temple within a military fortress in Judah dating to around 8th century BCE. And inside that temple were two altars. They ran tests on both. One came back with frankincense, which makes a lot of sense. It's pretty typical. The other, however, tested positive for cannabis, THC. It was burned as part of ritual worship. Both substances were mixed with animal fat to help them burn slowly. This was an intentional, sacred part of the worship practice happening in that space. The fact that these were two distinct substances on two separate altars means that they were for two divine figures. Tel Arad is another sacred site that's not far from Tel Arad, and it contains blessings that literally say Yahweh and his Asherah, a divine pair preserved in ink and pottery. Now, imagine in that temple space, two altars, one for Yahweh with frankincense, one for Asherah, his consort, with cannabis. Cannabis has been utilized for very real and practical reasons. It helps with childbirth. It's used to ease all kinds of body pain, earaches. It helps you sleep. It calms your nerves. It's relaxing. It brings comfort for some people, which basically matches what Asherah was associated with. She wasn't distant or abstract. She was a protector, a comforter, somebody that you would call on in the middle of your real crisis. She is the goddess of fertility, wisdom, familial, and household. So offering cannabis on her altar would not have been something that is taboo. It would make complete sense. Later, of course, during the religious reforms in Judah, anything connected to Asherah was polemicized and she was systematically erased. And society suffered for it till this very day. Rural shrines were closed, economic and social ecosystems were damaged as the worship of Yahweh became more centralized and rebranded, gobbling up all of the attributes of surrounding gods. But you can still see the fingerprints of Asherah. They weren't able to scrub everything. And the presence of two distinct rituals in one temple tells us a lot about what people actually believed before all of the editing. When I first read about this, I just wanted to understand where all of the threads were leading. And they led me here to a place where I realized Yahweh might not have stood alone, that there was a divine pairing, a pairing that left traces on stones and inscriptions, and possibly even into our modern day idea of the Holy Spirit. Jesus came from a world where wisdom was still spoken of as a feminine presence. By his time, Asherah's name maybe had been erased, but her memory, her attributes, her influence were still around. I'm not saying that he necessarily called her mother, but I am saying that the divine feminine didn't vanish, and it played an important role in his life, just like everything else. I'm not a scholar. I'm not here to preach. I just think learning about Asherah is not dangerous. It's interesting and it's healing because somewhere along the way, the sacred feminine got buried. And what matters is that we're still finding out about her to this very day, digging through the ashes. And if this kind of discovery lights up something in you like it does for me, I will keep digging. You keep watching. I'll see you next time. Just blaze.